As we were finishing up 5052 Queen Street, a house right nearby at 22 Kingsbury Street caught my attention. And I was able to get in touch with the owner, and he was very ill, but he transferred ownership to Matthew 25 just shortly before he died. So we began work on that house in the spring of 1995. The first item on the agenda was to once again engage in the process of interior demolition. And I recruited many scores of students from Holy Cross to come and work with me and help me to do interior demolition. We also got a commitment from Worcester Vocational High School, now called Worcester Technical High School, to work with us on that house. And we got a commitment from the carpentry department, from the electrical department, from the plumbing and heating department, and from the painting and decorating department to work on that house. So we pretty much followed that same model, that same format as we did on the first house at Queen Street. So I recruited the college students to do interior demolition, and then when it comes time for the skilled work, I have to turn to the high school students. They come to the site with their teachers and they do all the skilled work for us. They were really wonderful. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the color of that house. The original color when we got it was red, but it had faded dramatically and it hadn't been painted in about 20 years. And the carpentry teacher, Phil Solomon, told me, Father, that wood is very punky. It will not hold paint, so it's going to need to be replaced. So I said, fine. So we were able to buy a huge batch of cedar clapboard. We removed the old cedar clapboard, and the carpentry students, under the direction of their teacher, put all new cedar clapboard on that house. It needed to be painted, and I went to the paint store, and I said, we're going to paint a house. I need some paint, and I need some primer. And he goes, okay, well, what color is the house going to be? And I said, well, it was red, and we're planning to keep it red. He said, fine. So I'll tell you what, for the primer, let me put a little bit of red in your white primer, and if you use that for your primer, it's very likely you'll be able to get away with one coat when you do the finish paint. So we started painting the house with that primer, and it was pink. And Phil Solomon, the teacher, and I looked at it and we said, you know, this actually looks pretty good. And it's very different from the neighborhood. And maybe we could find some accent colors to work with it. So when I went back to the paint store to get the finish paint, I said, I'd like pink. And he said, I thought you wanted red. He goes, well, we've changed our mind. So the house ended up being pink, and I chose a peach color for one of the accent colors, and Phil chose a heather color, which is a purplish bluish color, for the other accent color, and that's how the main body of the house is painted red, and all the trim is peach and heather. Let me say, it's very conspicuous in the neighborhood, and all the neighbors and even people who drive through the neighborhood refer to it as the pink house. Now, I don't want to sound like I have any grandiose ideas about this, but for me, it's a San Francisco painted lady in Worcester. It's a really interesting house, and it's got really great and wonderful colors that you absolutely cannot miss.